Hello, Ryerson. Alexia Kapralus here from the plugin on the scope at Ryerson. I am interviewing 2/5 of Sworn In today. Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
how's it going?
Good. So this is your first headlining tour, right?
Our first real headlining tour. We did a short little run headlining a few years ago with the band that's opening this tour, Giver, and this is our first actual real headlining tour. And we're pretty excited about it. It's going really well, and we love the bands that are on it. So it's been a good time.
Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Lots of people say it's their first one, but this is just what I'd say our first official one. I'm pretty stoked about it. It's our first month-long tour. It's always been 7 days that we headline, so it's good to actually do it.
So how's this been different for you guys instead of actually being an opening band for another tour?
Well, I guess we play super late, so you have to wait to eat, drink, or smoke till after, and that's kind of hard for us because otherwise you feel like shit when you play for the most part. So it's very different than what we're used to. Normally we play earlier in the day and we have the whole day off after that, so it's different.
It's a lot more responsibility, but it's been a good experience, I think, for us, kind of growing and learning our place as a band, and learning how to ease out, work out all the kinks that we have, make sure we're really streamlined and efficient. So it's been cool.
And your new album has just dropped, actually. The Lover is the Devil. And how has this been different in making in comparison to your first album?
Well, the first album was a lot more, I guess, live, you could say. This album was almost like I wrote the whole thing on a computer, honestly. Some of it was jammed on a guitar, but when it comes down to it, it was written throughout our touring career, and the Death Card was written before we started touring. So it was kind of we had a lot more to write about, had a lot more less time, but a lot more emotions built up just because touring can suck, and that's about it. Yeah.
So this one is a concept album that has a story. Can you tell us about the story that underlies this album?
Yeah, honestly, all of our stuff is concept albums, but this one is more of I guess this is our take on kind of a love story or a love song sort of thing. Last album was more about a dude going insane. This is more about two people kind of being obsessive, kind of switching roles, becoming insane and obsessed over each other, and all that stuff. It's about basically a love story of two people who come together. They're honestly worse together rather than separate.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
So in terms of writing the instrumental part, how was this process different? You said you did it on a computer, but the sound is totally different. So how would you say that affected the music?
The first album was a lot more abrasive. I'm not sure if that's a good word, but we were trying to be a lot more technical. We were trying to use power chords and do crazy riffs and whatever. And this one we're trying to go more singular note. We're almost trying to go for a little bit of a Deftones vibe, but with more of our own dark style on it. So it's very different because on the computer you could do so many different layers. It's you can write 3 guitar leads rather than just one, and then it makes it a lot harder to translate, but at the same time it makes it more complex, and we hope people see that.
Yeah, it's definitely a different sound. A lot of people have been talking about the recording of it, and we really like the mix on it. We think it sounds really good. It fits the style way better than our old mix would have fit the same music that we wrote now. So it's part of our progression, I would say, as a band. Just improving our sound, changing it to really focus and not streamline, but focus and show off the actual music a little bit more and have a little bit less of people's ears just getting pounded the whole time. So it's a little more melodic.
And what program on the computer do you use to write?
It's called Guitar Pro 5, but I don't know. It's basically using sheet music but tablature. It's just really it's kind of, I do it for the sake of making it so that other people can learn it easily, rather than saying, here's how to play this riff. It's just you show them the tab, and then it's easy, So it's more of it's a convenience thing, but it also expanded what our limits would have been, I guess, because some of the stuff would have been very hard to play at first. Then it kind of pushes us to be better almost.
It provides a good place for us to be able to record while we're driving around in a van, because you can't really set up a bunch of recording equipment in a van while you're driving.
Very true.
So, yeah, provide us more time to be able to actually sit with it and write. Yeah.
Was this album directed towards anyone specific?
Honestly, not really. All of our albums have kind of been just from the internal going out, our view on technically the whole world. Last one is more on mental sanity. This one is it still has themes of that, but this one is more about like it in a relationship aspect. So it's not directed towards anybody in specific. Tyler is also more of the conceptual part of the like lyrics. So like that'd be something more to ask him, but at the same time it's not directed or not intended to be this is about one person, you know. So it's open for interpretation.
Yeah, it's supposed to be relatable. It's kind of a translation of like a bunch of life experiences into one idea and just giving it to people so it's like, hey, we also feel this way. Like it's not bad to feel this way. Like sometimes you just do, and so tried to translate that, I guess, into the new CD.
So again, with your new album, how would you say that fans have been receiving it so far? Because your sound is a total 180, I would say.
Mm-hmm. At the beginning, people were, well, we expected it. People were all like, oh, this sucks, blah, 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 you know, what you would expect. And people weren't taking it. Then when it came out, people started to warm up a lot more. And it's kind of like we expected that. It's the album that it'll require a couple listens to actually really get the full gist of it. You got to actually listen to the whole thing to understand why it's like what it is. When you listen to one song, it's not exactly the same thing as listening to the whole thing. So it's kind of like some people it's going to take time, and we're okay with that. We kind of knew it was going to happen.
The singles don't necessarily represent the whole album. It's not like a good representation of the like complete idea. So it's been cool now that it's out to have people like listen to it all the way through and be like, oh, I didn't like it at first, but now I really like it, and that's like really cool to see. So it's been received well.
Why did you choose to release singles with such a diverse sound?
Honestly, half of it was our label, but at the same time, we still had the say in it. So we're like, first song was a straightforward song. Second song was a weird one. Third one, we're like, okay, let's show people that we're still heavy. And then the fourth one was kind of like another weirder one. So we were just trying to show, like, we thought it kind of like showcased the album well, but of course people still complain about anything. So that happened. And then once the album was out, it kind of put it more into perspective.
And in terms of rumors now from the rumor mill, I have a question about this. So I've heard a rumor that Tyler almost quit the band because of his ex, Ashley. Is this
Really?
true?
I've never heard that.
That's like news to us, actually.
Yeah, that's a rumor.
First
That's
time
a
I've
new
heard that.
rumor, actually. I've never heard that rumor. We hear a lot of rumors that are 99% of the time false. And we often wonder who comes up with these things, but no, there was never any debate with Tyler about that.
So as a band, how do you deal with the rumor mill?
We can't. We just gotta let it fizzle out. If we respond to it, it gets more attention, and that's kind of a shitty position because people are just saying, "Oh, you did this," and you're like, "No, I didn't." But you can't even defend yourself because once you do, everybody sees it, and then it becomes a big deal. So we have to kind of keep our mouths shut a lot.
Yeah, just kind of let it pass by, realize what's not really worth giving any attention to, and letting it pass.
That's a really good attitude. It's really
It's
healthy.
hard. Not easy.
Yeah, it sucks when people come up with things that are like hurtful
Like
or
derogatory,
like
yeah.
stuff that's blatantly not true that like a bunch of people get offended about, and it's like, why are you all thinking this? Like, but you know, every band kind of has that.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing, as a band, how do you get over the challenge that Tyler just seems to always be physically sick?
Well, we can't, honestly. I mean, like, he has diabetes, so he can't really do much about his immune system. So we just, I don't know, touring is hard. What can I say? Like, everybody gets sick. He gets sick double the amount as others, and then we just kind of have to keep on playing shows, and that makes it worse. But what can you do, you know?
Yeah, push through, try to do the best that we can all the time, and still provide a cool experience for the kids at the shows, even if Tyler's voice isn't all the way there, or half of us are throwing up, and like all sorts of stuff can happen on the road, and most people don't really think about that, but it's kind of cool that we've gotten some support. Like, people don't like hate on Tyler because he's sick. Like, he can't talk, so like they can't really be that mad that he's not screaming. But we do the best that we can with it. Just make do.
Yeah, I guess sometimes you just can't control life, but hey. So as for tonight at the show at Sneaky Dee's, how do you guys feel about that? This is your first time playing at this venue, right?
Yeah. We play Canada a lot, but like this is our first time here, so we're happy about it.
Yeah, I think we really like the room. We think it's gonna be really fun with a bunch of people in there, and looking forward to a good show.
Sounds good. And another thing, you guys did mention before this interview about the difficulties of getting into Canada with that pesky border control. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, one of our guitarists isn't with us, and our tour manager isn't with us. They had their issues that...
Passport issues and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
like it's different every time. It's kind of hard to tell if you're going to be able to get through, and we just got lucky, I guess.
Yeah, every time we go through, we get hassled a little bit, but we do what we have to do. We kind of make things work still.
But will that ever stop you guys from coming back to Canada?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully
We
not.
really hope so. Yeah. Can't do anything about it, so we're just going to pray, you know.
Well, thank you for your time. This was a lot of fun. And this has been Sworn In.